All right, guys, we're going to start this program shortly. It's good to be back in the saddle. Good to be back here after a little bit of break. Got to spend some time with my family, my extended family that's in from out of town. Our new baby boy. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. I truly enjoy seeing, and I remember this. And it still happens with our oldest son, who's almost 5, seeing life for the first time through his eyes as he experiences things for the first time and seeing his joy or his excitement or uncertainty or fear. And we're doing that again with, goodness, our youngest is now, how old is he? Is he almost 6 weeks old? Man, time is flying. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, approaching 6 weeks old, and he's seeing things for the first time. Granted, he's 6 weeks old, so pretty much he just eats, sleeps, and does number 2. But there are times when he's awake and he'll see me or he'll see my wife or my extended family, and his reaction to these interactions with people are just priceless. And being a parent is just the best. It really is the best. Anyway, a lot to cover on today's program. If you could, give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. We'll get rocking and rolling here in a matter of moments. Scott Aaronworth in Virginia Beach, welcome to the program. I missed you, Scotty Aaronworth. We'll talk minimum wage and gas prices in Virginia. They are upticking, they're increasing, and on paper that is undoubtedly a good thing. We want people to be paid more money. Now, upticking gas prices is not a good thing, but people getting paid more money is a good thing. But we'll also talk about what the fallout of that could be and how it pertains to restaurants. We have a restaurant that's closed in Albemarle County. The Piedmont on Pantops is now closed. We'll ask what happened to the Piedmont on Pantops. We will also ask, does this spell potential concern for the sister restaurants of the Piedmont? And the sister restaurants are Fry Spring Station and Ivy Provisions. The other sister restaurant of the Piedmont has already closed, Augusta Kitchen, Judah. So a lot we got to talk about on today's program. We'll talk about a new hotel coming to Court Square. That topic on today's show. Dr. Meg Bryce is running for Albemarle County School Board. Sean Tubbs had that announcement over the weekend. We'll talk about Dr. Meg Bryce and her school board push with the at-large seat. So a lot we're going to cover. We'll talk Brennan Armstrong today. He's getting linked to the NC State in Raleigh and the transfer portal. That would not be a good scenario for the University of Virginia to see Brennan Armstrong at an ACC team. We'll talk about Brennan Armstrong on today's program. Judah Wickow, are you ready to rock and roll, homie? Travis Hackworth in Danville, the king of Danville. Welcome to the program. Give the show a like and a share anywhere you are watching. Happy New Year to you, Scott. He says he missed me and J-Dubs.
Nice.
You missed him as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I missed him too. Missed you guys. All right, we can rock and roll when you're ready, Judah.
Quiet on the set.
Guys, happy 2023, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille show. My name is Jerry Miller. It's a good Tuesday afternoon to you. Thank you kindly for joining us. Our audience is every social media platform known to mankind, and today's show is quite busy. Lee Elberson, Happy New Year to you as well. He gives Judah Wickower some props as well. J-Dubs, as he's known across the Mid-Atlantic and up and down the Eastern Seaboard. We'll welcome J-Dubs to the program here in a matter of moments, but we have a lot of topics we want to cover. We take topics that could be national, regional, and we localize them. And we take topics that are otherwise local and we really drill down into them. Here's a Commonwealth-wide topic that we're going to spend some time chatting on today's program. Minimum wage is upticking. how is that going to impact Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia? That's going to be the lead of today's show. Gas prices are also upticking. We had a bit of reprieve. I don't know if you saw the below $3 a gallon gas in some aspects of December, but that is now gone. And gas is now well above $3. We'll talk about that on today's show and the impact it's going to have in January and February as credit card bills from Christmas and the holidays are now coming due. We'll talk with Dr. Meg Bryce, making a push for the at-large seat with the Albemarle County School Board. Dr. Bryce has been on this program a couple of times. We'll offer our take on Dr. Meg Bryce making this push for school board. 4 spots on the school board are up for grabs, including the one she's running for, the at-large seat. We'll talk about a restaurant on Pantops that is now closed. It's called the Piedmont. It's no more. The Piedmont is the sister restaurant to Fry Spring Station, the sister restaurant to Ivy Provisions, and was the sister restaurant to Augusta Kitchen in Fishersville. Augusta Kitchen has now closed. So this restaurant group that had 4 brands within it, Fry Spring Station, Ivy Provisions, the Piedmont, formerly known as Shadwell's, and Augusta Kitchen, 2 of the 4 have now unceremoniously closed. Kind of closed in DL, fly under the radar fashion. We'll ask this question: can Pantops support a sit-down restaurant like the Piedmont? We'll also ask this question: Fry Spring Station and Ivy Provisions, are those 2 brands in a concerning situation now that 2 of their sister restaurants, half the group, has unceremoniously closed their doors? On today's show, we will also introduce you to a hotel that's being planned for Court Square, the Zebra Carriage Hotel. I'm excited for this hotel, not because we have a hotel shortage, but I'm excited for this hotel because there's going to be dining and bar space that's open to the public for us to enjoy. We'll introduce you to the Zebra Carriage Hotel and how it could influence your nightlife, my nightlife, the libations and food we like to enjoy around downtown Charlottesville. We have a piece of land, in fact, 2 pieces of land for sale, Judah. Why don't you put the map on screen if you could, the Google map with the red circle, and then we'll welcome you to the show. 105 and 107 Piedmont Avenue. 105 and 107 Piedmont Avenue, that's on screen?
Yeah.
Look at the screen, everyone. Thank you, Judah Wickhauer, our enterprising director, always doing great work. Look at the screen, look at the screen, look at the screen. So, Judah, this is all Fontaine Avenue. This is past Wayside, Fried Chicken, past Dirty Nelly's, right?
Yeah.
So this is right before the fire station, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's...
It's between Dirty Nelly's and the fire station on Fontaine Avenue. And 105 and 107 Piedmont Avenue South have an asking price of $1,200,000. And ladies and gentlemen, the listing agent, Mark McDonald of Core Real Estate, is marketing these 2. Now, this is just dirt. This is just lots for sale. And it's a combined 0.69 acres. And the listing agent, Mark McDonald, is marketing this dirt, this land for sale, as an incredible and rare opportunity to own an income-producing future development property in the heart of the university. This outstanding offering is comprised of 2 neighboring properties consisting of a total of almost 7/10 of an acre, less than an acre, Judah, for $1.2 million asking. Here's the key of his listing. The future land use map has this land designated as high-density residential. This upzoning would allow for a significant development project with the potential for 26 units. So again, upzoning and the future land use map driving up the cost of real estate as speculators are the ones potentially only with the deep pockets to purchase the dirt and the dilapidated properties that have the upzoning potential. We'll explain more of this as the show goes on. Andre, we will get to that topic in a matter of moments. The king of transportation, actually that's Juan Sarmiento who's the king of transportation. Andre Xavier is the king of travel. He's got a comment about the Piedmont, which we will get to in a matter of moments. Let's welcome Judah to the program on a two-shot. First, Judah, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
How the holidays? You haven't been on camera since, what, the 22nd of December. So your fans have not had an opportunity to be romanced and seduced by the Judah Wickower baritone voice and the poignant prose and perspective that you often offer to the viewers and listeners of this fine and fair talk show. Did the holiday treat you well?
Yeah, I had a great holiday. It was filled with sickness, but still enjoyable to be with family.
The whole holiday was filled with sickness.
Well, I mean, it was basically a weekend, right?
I mean, you got Christmas, you got Hanukkah, you got New Year, you got Festivus.
I think most of my family was sick in some form or another leading up to the Christmas weekend.
Oof.
And then I spent the weekend there, so it's hardly surprising that I got sick as well. And
well,
but
let's leave a little space for the Holy Spirit between you and I.
Plenty. Well, that was Christmas, so it's been a day or two.
I mentioned this to start the program. Our youngest son is approaching 6 weeks old. He was born just after Thanksgiving, and the break has been not only rejuvenating for yours truly, because we work very hard here, but it's been a joy watching our nearly 6-week-old in the few moments that he's awake throughout the day start to experience things for the first time. Parents of young children, remember how excited you were when your newborn started getting head and neck control? Our little boy is finally getting some head and neck control, and every time a new person enters his orbit, because they don't have the best vision, infants and newborns, the vision improves as they get older. So as someone kind of enters his little stratosphere of vision, and he starts to recognize them, his eyes get so wide, and he starts to smile, and it just makes me feel like a proud dad. It's just a great gift. Anyway, we got some topics we want to get to. Vanessa Parkhill, the Queen of Earlysville. I will check out that documentary that you sent me. Thank you for forwarding it to me. Anything that you send to me, I check out closely. I want to talk a minimum wage first. And I want to stipulate a couple things, Judah. And we on a two-shot?
Yeah.
Look, gas prices going up is brutal for everyone. The first tax, TAX, that an American, a Virginian, a Central Virginian, an Albemarle Countyan, a Charlottevillian, the first tax they incur is gasoline. And when gas prices go up, that means we have less money in our pockets, our bank accounts, our checking accounts to spend. So the fact that gas prices are upticking again here in the first quarter of 2023 is concerning. And why it's concerning is because everyone's got bills that have now come due from the holidays. We rack up debt in December because we're generous and we're in the holiday spirit. And we pay for those debt, pay for those gifts, the nights out, the cocktails, the enjoyment in January and February. So with gas prices upticking, and we saw them fall below $3 around here for a lot of December, and we had some reprieve, and it was nice. and it was enjoyable. But now that they're climbing well above $3, that's a cause for concern. And that's what's happening right now. I want to talk minimum wage primarily, and I want to get you in the mix.
Yeah.
You and I are all for affordability. We're all for folks getting a slice of the American pie, the American dream. And a lot of that slice of the American pie and the American dream is buying a home. We're all for people making more money at their place of doing business. And we understand that minimum wage is going to eventually creep to $15 an hour. I think, what are we at? Right around $12 an hour now for minimum wage?
I think it's going up to 12.
Going up to $12 an hour.
In Virginia.
In Virginia. Thank you, Judah. So we say that. One thing I want to highlight on today's show is as minimum wage increases, the employer, especially the employer in food services, in hospitality, in wine, in beer, in cider, in cocktails, in restaurants, in hotels, they have very difficult decisions to make. Because these types of businesses can only raise prices a certain amount to help offset increased labor costs. You can't charge $20, $25 for a cheeseburger and expect people to keep eating that cheeseburger and ordering it.
Yeah.
So you're left with these types of decisions and these questions. The first question is, do we start eliminating jobs?
Yeah. Or go out of business,
Or do we go out of business?
as we've seen, sadly.
With a lot of restaurants. The second question you have to ask, do you start pivoting those jobs away from human jobs and automated computer, AI, kiosks, robot jobs? I posted in December, McDonald's in Texas, the Golden Arches, rolled out their first fully automated McDonald's. Fully automated.
Nobody has to be there?
Nope, fully automated.
Wow.
No one has to be there. Now you don't go in there, it's pick up food. You're not going in there and sitting down. You're not ordering from a register. You're ordering from your mobile app or a kiosk, and then you're picking the food up. You're using the drive-through, but it's fully automated, there's no people.
It's crazy.
We're seeing Chipotle doing it. We're seeing Starbucks rolling out pickup-only locations. Like literally you order through a mobile app on Starbucks and you pick it up at a spot. That's all you can do at the spot is pick up stuff. You can't order there. You have to order through technology. So I want to emphasize this. I want your take as well. I am all for increased pay for people. But when you start increasing pay for people at a time when businesses, small businesses to Fortune 500, Fortune 100, Fortune 200, I mean, we're talking McDonald's here, is at a point where they can't afford the labor and they can't raise the prices anymore, and they're getting hammered by fuel because everything fuel-wise affects the price points of menus.
Yeah.
Then these businesses start looking for new jobs. They start looking for new ways to roll out their services to the marketplace that does not involve human capital.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
I mean, it's a tough topic, and I don't think there are any easy answers. I mean, I think raising minimum wage is good. I think in most cases it's helpful to the economy. I mean, you get more people making more money, which means more money that they can spend, going into the economy, especially local economies. It also means that in general you have to spend less money on social safety network programs, but there's just so much involved in it. For instance, businesses, they're the ones that actually have to pay the price. The businesses especially that rely on on low income, low pay.
There's a lot of folks, there's a lot of businesses out there that have frontline, the term frontline became in vogue during COVID.
Yeah.
Frontline employees, essentially people, employees, team members that interact with customers on a frontline standpoint. And you see this Bodos, fast food, pizzerias, coffee shops. I need to emphasize this. As pay increases for these types of businesses will look to eliminate human capital from their business model. And how they're going to eliminate human capital from their business model is doing a pickup window where you order your food at a register and then you go pick it up at a window next to the kitchen and you don't have front of the house service. How you eliminate human capital is utilizing kiosks, drive-thrus, mobile app technology, and other AI. And as Starbucks, Chipotle, McDonald's consider these steps and strategies, it creates a trickle-down effect to the mom and pop. And while the mom and pop business does not have the financial resources to roll out a mobile kiosk or a smartphone app or a robot to serve food, what the mom and pop can do is they can eliminate labor by doing a front of the house pickup window like you see at a Moe's barbecue.
Yeah.
Or like a Wayside fried chicken. They don't have front of the house staff. That is probably the future of what we're looking at when it comes to food and hospitality.
Yeah, I'd say probably less seating.
Right.
Why not have less space that you need without, you don't need a front of the house.
Great point, because that lowers your rent.
You don't need to clean the lobby. You don't need to clean the eating area every hour or two. Because
the restaurant may not want folks to even stay there to enjoy their food.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we're seeing with grocery stores. How many grocery stores have you been to now and you see the ubiquitous self-checkout? The grocery stores are pushing you. Target over Christmas. My wife went to Target for Christmas gifts 3 or 4 days before Christmas, and she said they had 2 cashiers working at Target.
Yeah.
The rest were self-checkout.
I know some people can't stand that.
I hate self-checkout.
Especially when you get.
I despise self-checkout.
Especially when you get accosted at the door asking for your receipt, and it's like, wait a minute, why should I do your? I'm already doing your job for you. Now you're telling me you don't trust me to do your job for you.
One of the reasons I despise self-checkout, right there. I don't like going to the grocery store and then going and bagging my own stuff. But that's the future. You put the grapes on the scale, how the hell are you supposed to know the price? The vegetables on the scale at self-checkout, how the hell are you supposed to know the price? And how many times do you go to self-checkout and something doesn't have a price tag on it or you can't ring it up? It's inconvenient, but that's the future. So while we are proponents of people making fair living wages, please understand that as fair living wages become more costly for a business to manage, that business owner is going to start eliminating jobs because their business model cannot support the additional cost of fair living wages. So your collateral damage may be more folks making more dollars per hour as minimum wage heads to 15. It's going to be 12 this coming year. They want to get it to 15 in Virginia. Maybe more folks can make a few extra bucks per hour, but there's going to be less of those jobs out there. There will be less of those jobs out there. Let's get to comments and then we'll go to the next topic. Kelly Jackson's watching the program, front of the program. She says, Happy New Year. She says the prices of groceries are absolutely crazy. Her daughter works at Wegmans. It gets paid $15.50 an hour. She's 15 years old. Wegmans took so many of the A and B players from restaurants and hired them. One of the main reasons we have restaurant staffing shortages is the Wegmans effect. where a great private-owned business like Wegmans took A and B players from restaurants and have them stocking shelves and running this grocery store that's crushing it. She says restaurants KJ does, she's the queen of restaurants, Kelly Jackson. She has 17 of them and a new brand that's launching soon. I won't spill your beans, KJ. She says restaurants are cutting costs by getting smaller spaces so the rent is cheaper. They are also going more e-commerce and less sit down. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Direct to consumer through an app on your phone, and then directing, once that order is done on the phone, directing them to not even go inside the location to pick up what they order, but instead to pick it up while sitting in their car and handing the coffee, the latte, the cheeseburger, the chicken sandwich out the window through a drive-through window. That's going to be the future. And I've been consistent with this message for years now on this network as we're seeing a little bit into the future. Since COVID, I've been consistent on this. You don't need the massive space anymore. You just do not need it. And maybe that's one of the reasons why the Piedmont on Pantops has now permanently closed down. We'll get to that topic in a matter of moments. The Piedmont on Pantops is a massive restaurant, formerly known as Shadwell's.
Yeah.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes, I want to ask you this question, because you and I both live on this side of town and I see that you're watching. Can Pantops support a sit-down restaurant like the Piedmont? I want to ask all the viewers and listeners of this fine and fair talk show, when you're thinking of Pantops, what sit-down restaurants come to mind? Tip Top, Guadalajara. Those are the ones we go to. You also got an Applebee's, but we've never been to the Applebee's.
Yeah.
Tip Top and Guadalajara. What other sit-down restaurants can you think of in Pantops? I'll throw the Lazy Parrot in there, but the Lazy Parrot more of a sports bar than a sit-down restaurant.
And you're talking bottom of Pantops.
And that's the bottom of Pantops.
Big difference between the area that Lazy Parrot is in and the top of the hill.
I 100% agree with you.
Even though it's only like, a minute and a minute drive.
But it's a significant difference.
Yeah.
Because of traffic flow and getting in and out of that shopping center. Right?
Yeah, I guess. I
agree with what Stephanie just said. I do not understand why they cannot keep something in that open in that location. Remember, before it was Shadwell's, Stephanie, help me remember the name. Lisa Costello, welcome to the program. Dr. Bryce, welcome to the program. We're going to chatter Dr. Bryce here in a matter of moments. Before it was Shadwell's, it was a steakhouse. What was the name of that steakhouse, Stephanie? Do you remember before it was Shadwell's? The name of that steakhouse at that location? And then it went from a steakhouse to Shadwell's. Shadwell's tried to be the neighborhood bar and grill. And then Shadwell's went to the Piedmont. Shadwell's wanted to be the neighborhood bar and grill.
There's no neighborhood there.
See, that's what I don't understand, man. Pantops has got density. Pantops has got Ashcroft, that's a high-dollar neighborhood. Pantops has got all of Keswick. Pantops has got Glenmore. Glenmore is 850 rooftops. 850 homes within Glenmore. Pantops has got, is it Rivanna Village, the neighborhood right outside Glenmore?
I think the problem is that
there's a lot of density and there's a lot of wealth in the Keswick area and around Pantops. There is a lot of density and a lot of wealth, and there's not a lot of restaurant competition. I don't understand why that location where the Piedmont is cannot sustain long term. Now, I will say this, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone. I'm not going to throw shade on anyone. The Piedmont, the execution was not great. It rebranded quickly from Shadwell's to the Piedmont. The Piedmont's basic plan was to steal the primary bestsellers from Fry Spring Station and from Ivy Provisions and try to consolidate the Ivy Provisions menu and the Fry Spring Station menu and sell it at the Piedmont. That was their goal. They did not have the wood-burning oven that Fry Spring Station did, so the pizza was not great. It was expensive at the Piedmont. The service was not great at the Piedmont. And I understand they had some headwinds, COVID, labor shortage, cost of goods was extremely expensive, gasoline was driving up cost of food as well. But the execution with the Piedmont didn't even get a permanent sign. It was a banner that hung over the Shadwell sign.
Did they even advertise?
Very little. Very little. It was Topeka Steakhouse. Thank you, Stephanie. Her daughter worked there before Shadwell's. That's right. Thank you, Stephanie. So went Topeka Steakhouse to Shadwell's to the Piedmont. Now it's completely vacant. And this is my fear. And Andre Xavier, I'm going to get to your comment. Andre Xavier leaves this comment. He says, sadly, I think only a chain restaurant like Olive Garden or Buca de Pepe would survive at the Shadwell's location due to its proximity to the Hilton Garden Inn Hotel.
Buca de Pepe.
I've never heard of that chain either.
I've never heard of it either. But
and I think Andre Xavier might be right, man.
I would definitely go there if it was Olive Garden.
I think he might be right, that it's destined to be a chain restaurant. And here's another concern I have. The Piedmont location is massive. It is a humongous restaurant. And because of the size of that restaurant, the monthly rent for the Piedmont is going to be astronomical because rent is based on square feet. So because of the sheer size of the Piedmont, I don't think in this difficult economic climate, a locally owned restaurant group is going to rent that location. My fear is it's going to stay vacant for an extended period of time. Neil Williamson, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, writes this in one of our Facebook pages. In fact, you guys should read the op-ed that Neil Williamson wrote for the Daily Progress. That op-ed has been entitled, Albemarle Must Get Real with Housing Density. It was published 10 hours ago on the Daily Progress website, and it was penned by Neil Williamson, the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. Neil says this, Judah. Why doesn't the affluent population of Upper Pantops support a restaurant in this location? Could this place be where enterprises go to die? That's a great question.
I mean, does anybody even know it's there?
People know it's there.
But I feel like the top of Pantops is just a no-stop zone. It's like
I live in Keswick, and if you're coming to town, you're driving right by this stuff.
I know, but would you ever turn left to get into there?
That's one of the challenges for sure. If you're coming from Keswick down Pantops, making that left across all the traffic is a challenge. Another thing that worked against the Piedmont was the Pantops Diamond Interchange construction. That just caused a cluster duck, quack, 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 right around the Piedmont. That Diamond Interchange did not help that business.
But if that's the kind of business where you would call and, make arrangements.
You're talking reservations?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's like, if you decide you want to eat somewhere, turning left is not going to affect your decision. So if nobody is calling that place saying, hey, we want to have dinner there, it doesn't matter. I think the problem is just that it never gained a following. It's always been that spot. I swear. It's because
Is it one of the most cursed restaurant spots in Albemarle County?
It's because there's nothing there.
Well, I mean, Stephanie makes a good point here. Multiple people are also making the point. You got a hotel there in the Hilton Garden.
Yeah.
You got Martha Jefferson Hospital there. I mean, Martha Jefferson Hospital is a captive audience. You got Glenmore. You got Keswick Estates. Two of the most affluent neighborhoods.
Is the parking lot connected to Martha Jefferson Hospital?
Probably not.
Because if you have to come out and get onto Long Street.
No, you have to come out Martha Jeffs. You're going to get, is that Long Street? Is that It's 250.
Pantops, Long
Yeah,
Street, 250.
You got in 250 and get back on. That is a cluster duck. Quack, quack, quack. No doubt about it.
Like, once you're on 250, why would you, I don't know. It's just there's like I
All
said.
right, do we put it on the short list?
If
Do we
it
put it on
was-
the short list of the most cursed spots for restaurants in the town?
Sure. I mean, it needs more around it. It needs other businesses. It needs some reason for people to go there, and I think once people get accustomed to pulling into that parking lot, it wouldn't have any problem. But nobody's ever going to pull into that parking lot because unless you're stopping at unless you're going to the hotel
Great question.
or the restaurant.
I mean, how is the traffic situation not any different than the traffic on Route 29, though? How is that traffic problem that you've highlighted, and I will undoubtedly agree with you that there is a stigma associated with traffic and congestion. How is it any different than the stigma that's associated with the restaurants in the downtown mall and no parking? How's it any different than the traffic on Route 29?
Because name one place on 29 that is just a parking lot with a restaurant.
I can name dozens. Outback?
What are you talking about?
Outback is just a parking lot and a restaurant.
Yeah, that's right next to another restaurant.
How about what's the Chili's going to be? They're opening up some kind of hibachi grill over there now. There's a lot of spots that are just a parking lot with a restaurant on 29.
You're not listening though, because that's not what I asked.
Okay, let's try it again.
I'm talking about a place without anything else near it. You pull into the parking lot and that's it.
Red Robin?
That business. That's the mall.
Have you seen the mall?
I know that, but
have you seen the mall lately?
And I'm sure the Red Robin is getting less business than they did when the mall was in
Buffalo
full
Wild
swing.
Wings. It's a parking lot and a restaurant.
I don't know.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
I've been there once or twice. I couldn't tell you.
70 says, Judah, traffic isn't really an issue after 6:30 or 7 o'clock on Pantops.
I never said anything about traffic.
Oh, you were highlighting the difficulty of navigating Pantops and going across traffic to get into Shadwell's and the Piedmont. And that was associated with traffic.
I'm saying that's one issue with it. I mean, it's just an odd place.
Vanessa Parkhill says Martha Jefferson Hospital, she's the queen of Earlysville, Vanessa Parkhill, has a pretty solid cafeteria on site. Most of their staff probably does not have time to leave and do a sit-down lunch anyway. That's a good point for Vanessa Parkhill. I will say this, our son, our youngest, was born at Martha Jefferson Hospital on November 27th. And Martha Jefferson Hospital has a captive audience, and for those that have ever had to go to that hospital, there's a Greenberry's on site. That Greenberry's could not even stay open one of the days we were in the hospital with our birth of our son because they did not have enough labor to staff a one-person coffee shop in a hospital. So they closed early. What's that?
If you've got one person working somewhere, eventually you're going to have a day where the one person can't make it.
I would rather run a food and beverage business with one team member than a food and beverage business that requires 15 team members.
That's fair. But eventually that one team member is going to have to go out of town or get sick or something.
And that's a fair point. But if a one-person operation in a captive hospital cannot stay open because of labor, that's a microcosm of the economic climate we're in.
Yeah,
and the economic climate we're in, that labor is going to get more expensive as minimum wage is going up to $12, and they're trying to push it to 15.
Yeah.
And eventually, these mom and pops and these locally owned businesses are just going to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that happen. And I want to say this, and I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone here, but the restaurants that go out of business unceremoniously, super DL, without notifying their team members, without making announcements on social media, and just closing their doors, and people find out through a talk show like this, I think that is lowbrow. That is not the way to do it. How you go out if you want to close your doors is how friend of the program Curtis Shaver, Bill Hamilton, and Greg Vogler did at Peloton Station.
Yeah.
Where they announced a couple of weeks in advance, 10 days in advance, that we're closing This is why we're closing. Our lease is coming up for renewal. We don't want to renew again. We've had 5 years here at Peloton. We had success. We want to do different things. Here is the last day, this Friday. Come celebrate and cherish the memories you've experienced at Peloton Station. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
The champion grill way of a piece of paper on a door is Bush League.
It's not just lowbrow, it's low.
Yeah. It's squirmy. It's
Yeah.
not wanting to face the music. It's squirmy.
It's not wanting to face your employees,
Exactly.
which is just,
Or your customers who kept you in business.
I think it's most important to the employees who all of a sudden are scrambling to,
Get a job and pay their
Fine.
bills.
yeah,
And they did it to them at the Piedmont right around the holidays. Like literally around the holidays. This was lowbrow.
yeah,
Augusta Kitchen and now the Piedmont both closed around the holidays, and team members found out through the grapevine.
yeah,
And you got to start asking the question about the stability financially for the entire restaurant group.
Yeah.
And there's 2 more brands, Ivy Provisions and Fry Spring Station.
yeah. If the leadership is willing to do that to someone else, what would stop them from doing it to you?
Okay, you said it. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's sad.
It's sad. And that's a local group that owns those. Local.
Yeah,
All right, let's talk school board. Dr. Meg Bryce is running for Albemarle County School Board. Sean Tubbs reported this news over the last few days. We had an idea about these developments. Dr. Bryce has joined us for, I believe, 2 rodeos on the I Love Seville network.
yeah,
Each time Dr. Bryce came prepared, well-researched, had talking points that were detailed and backed by data and evidence on her computer. She is well-read. She is well-connected, incredibly well-spoken, and eager to make an impact.
yeah,
She exceeded expectations each time she was on this talk show. She has, she's motivated to bring stability to schools in Albemarle County. There's 4 spots that are up for election on the Albemarle County School Board. You got the Scottsville District, which is my district, the Rivanna District, the Whitehall District, and the at-large seat. Of the 4 spots that are up for election, the at-large seat is the most competitive, and it's the most competitive by far. And why it's the most competitive is you're not voting for a person that's tied specifically to your district. Instead, you're voting for someone that's going to represent Albemarle County in totality. Albemarle County has 6 districts: Whitehall, Rivanna, Scottsville, Rio, Jack Jewett. On the Board of Supervisors, you have 6 people. And those 6 people represent one of 6 districts in Albemarle County. On the school board, you have 7 people. And the additional 7th person is the at-large seat that represents all of Albemarle as opposed to just an individual district. I'm a huge fan of boards with odd numbers, like 5 or 7. Because when a vote ends in a 3-3 tie at Albemarle County at the Board of Supervisors, a 3-3 tie means no.
yeah,
When you have an odd number board, you don't get 3-3 ties.
yeah,
You get 4-3 votes, you get 5-2s, and you get action. Now, some people make the argument that a 3-3 tie is called good government because the people that were either pro or against something,
they didn't prove their point.
they couldn't persuade their peers on the dais to get behind what they were pushing. In today's world, we're so different in opinion and minutia that having to persuade your peers to the point of 4-2 is difficult. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah. If 3 are dead set against something, you're not going to convince them to
That's
change
my
their
point.
minds.
That's my point. Now, I've said on this program multiple times. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The 4 seats on the Albemarle County School Board, here are the topics that are going to determine the elections. And in no particular order, Judah. Fixing the school bus driver transportation conundrum that is continuing to persist. Mm-hmm. Students in the outer parts of Albemarle County are showing up to school an hour or 2 hours late every day. And they're getting home from school an hour to 2 hours late every day. Mm-hmm. You got to fix that. And you better come up with a plan to fixing that if you're running for school board. You have to fix Albemarle County teachers quitting at a pretty aggressive clip. You have to figure out this teacher union that is undoubtedly gaining momentum, and whether or not a union is going to materialize in Albemarle County Public Schools. Transgender topic is without question going to determine this election. And the level of involvement educators have when it comes to students and their sexual identities, that will be a topic that determines the election. Another topic that's going to determine the election is the involvement of parents and their students and their kids and their children's curriculum and performance in the classroom. I'm an involved dad. If you're teaching my sons, you're going to be having FaceTime with me. And Mrs. D, you know me well enough to know that's the case. And Mrs. W, I'm not going to say your full name, the teacher of our oldest, she knows, Mrs. W knows that I'm an involved dad. So is my wife. Involved mom. Mm-hmm. These topics will persistently come up between now and November. And I think that we're going to have some competitive races. And I want to say this. I'm a fan of Dr. Bryce and what she stands for. I think she's already noticing on a certain portion of social media, Twitter, that she's catching some heat and some shade right now. And that's the nature of running for public office in 2023. In any race that has people challenging and competing and offering options is fine by me. Do I agree with everything Dr. Bryce stands for? No. But you can't give me a candidate at a local election, a state election, or federal election where I agree with the candidate 100%.
Yeah.
I don't have a candidate I can think of that I have 100% agreed with them in every aspect of their platform, and we do not have to do that now.
Right.
It is a damn shame that at a local election, you're already seeing some of the vitriol and hate on social media.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame. It's also not a surprise. I mean, some people are just going to be angry and hateful.
Jerks, right?
I mean, that's one way to put it. I'd say hateful is a little more apt.
And why, explain to me why it's specific to platforms like Reddit and Twitter. It's because they're anonymous.
Yeah. It's very easy to
have keyboard muscles.
Yeah. It's very easy to be hateful and just generally a horrible person when you don't have to stand behind your name.
Right. And I want you to notice this. The hate and I experience hate. I give my opinion in a very vocal platform that has a large following 5 days a week. And I literally give opinions on topics that are ballsy and can be awkward and controversial. We give our opinions. And on Reddit and on Twitter, we catch hate. And it's unfortunate that people that you may encounter from a human standpoint, they would never have the courage or the confidence or the conviction to say what they would say on Twitter or Reddit behind a fake profile picture or behind an avatar in a fake name. And next thing you know, they're the biggest bullies around.
I think some people just get so used to their own echo chambers that they're surprised and angered that there are people that don't think the way they do. And it's a shame because our country is founded on, civil discourse.
And the other thing that's a shame about this is it keeps people from running.
Yeah.
You're talking about jobs that pay nothing.
Yeah.
Next to nothing. That are going to get much of the community upset with you. Half the community is going to dislike what you're doing. The other half is going to be barely interested. You're not going to get paid any money. You're going to be working at night. You're going to be away from your family. Your loved ones are going to catch hate. As your kids get older, they may catch hate. And then people wonder why folks don't run for local offices.
Yeah.
We just gave you the outline why they don't. Did we not?
Yeah.
I will say it again. I think Dr. Bryce listens to learn. And I've seen her in a handful of settings, twice on this talk show in front of cameras and a microphone and a live audience, and a handful of other times in an office setting, and she listens to learn. Listens to learn.
Yep.
We'll see how it plays out. I think schools are going to be such a hot topic this year.
No doubt.
Such a hot topic. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully some of the anger and vitriol will die down, and people will actually.
I don't think it's going to die down.
Probably won't, but we can always hope that people will be decent and discuss the topics involved honestly and openly, rather than just calling names and being spiteful because you don't like someone's viewpoint.
Or a family member.
Yeah.
Neil Williamson, president of the Free Enterprise Forum, says the Planning Commission also has an at-large seat. Does anyone find that odd? The Planning Commission has an at-large seat, a 7th seat, and the Albemarle County School Board has an at-large seat, a 7th seat, but the Board of Supervisors does not. I find that odd. Neil, is there a reason at all for that? Kate Schartz is watching the program. Kate, you're going to get a moniker here. What's Kate's moniker going to be? Do we have a Queen of Ivy?
You need to make a list because I don't know.
I have them all like mentally. You're right. We need to start having a database. Kate Schartz. I think we're going to call Kate Schartz the Queen of Ivy. Do we have a Queen of Ivy? I like Kate Schartz. We'll call her the Queen of Ivy. She says Brandon, her husband, would sometimes go get a drink and some appetizers with a coworker after work, but that doesn't keep the lights on for Shadwell's.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but I think that place is going to stay empty for a long period of time. Because 2023 is extremely uncertain from an economy standpoint. 2023 is getting very expensive from a labor standpoint. 2023 is going to get potentially more volatile. And that space is so large in size that whoever chooses to sign a lease is going to be signing a 5 or 10-year lease on one of the largest restaurants in Albemarle County.
Yeah.
One of the largest restaurants. And these are triple net leases where you're responsible for the taxes, the upkeep, the maintenance, and the rent. This isn't just a lease where you're paying X amount of dollars a month. You're also paying the taxes, common area maintenance, you're paying upkeep costs, you're paying outfit costs, you're paying maintenance costs. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some vacancy for an extended period of time there. Oh, I evidently already gave Kate Schartz the moniker Queen of Ivy. So she is the Queen of Ivy, I'm going to say. Thank you. I'm going to respond to Kate. Kate Schartz. Thank you for keeping us on our toes! Exclamation point. Thank you, Kate. Love you. All right, 2 other topics here. Judah. This one flew under the radar. Did you guys know that there's a hotel in the Hopper on Court Square? Literally right next to Zero Court Square, which is the home of a CPA office, our CPA office. Zero Court Square was the former location of the auction block. It's got some history to it.
The place with the flowers in front.
Across from the courthouses, next to the old Monticello Hotel, there's a structure that was built in 1854. It previously was carved up into apartments or offices. And now this structure has been purchased. It was purchased roughly 10 years ago by Candace DeLoach. She is the operator of the Court Square Inn that's on the corner right there of 4th and Court Square, kind of catty corner from Truist Bank, the old BB&T.
Yeah.
Right next to kind of the Renaissance School.
The other end of this block, yeah.
That's right. Candace DeLoach has now getting plans in place for a new hotel called the Zebra Carriage Hotel. The Zebra Carriage Hotel is going to be a 25-room luxury boutique hotel with an opening plan of 2024, so about a year away. 10 years ago, Candace DeLoach bought this building that's 13,000 square feet for $2.1 million. Now she's in the process of renovating and developing what she bought. She says the monthly cost for the room, the cost per night is going to be between $300 and $600 a night. It's dynamic pricing based on demand. There's going to be dining spaces and several bars that are open to the public in the Zebra Carriage Hotel. I love this.
Several bars in the Zebra Hotel?
That's what she says. Several bars.
Oh.
Several bars and dining spaces will be open to the general public. 25-room luxury boutique hotel scheduled to open next year. She already owns a hotel, the Court Square Inn. I hope it's in the mold. It's a boutique hotel. I hope it's in the mold of like what the Cork Hotel brand has become. Have you been to the Cork Hotel on West Main? Have you been to the Cork Hotel in Richmond?
No, I haven't been inside either of them.
Take one of the many significant others that you are currently dating and pursuing right now to the Cork Hotel. A rooftop, cocktails, sunset, pinkies up, feet touching, catching a buzz a little bit. Is that what you like to do?
Sure.
Okay. Cork Hotel's got a great view, dude.
Both of them?
The one in Charlottesville. The one in Richmond is not nearly as good. In fact, I would bet that the Cork Hotel and the city of Charlottesville may have the best overall view of any building in the city of Charlottesville. Maybe you put the Graduate Hotel and its rooftop deck up there as well, but for my money, the Quirk Hotel view is better than the Graduate's view.
Nice.
I think your many suitors would enjoy an evening on Judah Wickhauer's dime at the Quirk Hotel.
I'm sure.
Okay. You should do that. Can I hold you to that or no?
Sure.
Okay. You would enjoy the Quirk. The Zebra Carriage Hotel is something that I'm very excited about. Last topic I want to get to today, Judah. Actually, I got 2 more topics I need to get to. Can you put the map up again for 105 and 107 Piedmont Avenue? And let us know when that's on screen.
Yeah, it's up there.
Guys, look at the screen now. This is also flown under the radar. These are the type of stories we like to relay to you. These are the type of stories why I think you guys watch this show. I, for the life of me, do not understand why legacy media, traditional media, is not offering attention that 105 and 107 Piedmont Avenue, right between Wayside Fried Chicken and the Firehouse on Fontaine, they are currently listed for sale. I'm talking dirt, lots, grass, dirt for sale. No structures on them. They're not even 0.7 of an acre, these 2 lots combined. And the asking price is $1,200,000. And the sole reason that these pieces of property, this dirt, is for sale is because the owner of this dirt realizes that the upzoning potential is significant for this land. You could build potentially 26 units on these 2 parcels. 26 units. The asking price is $1,200,000. I've said this once, I'll say it again. If you believe that upzoning is going to create housing affordability, you are not living in a realistic reality. Upzoning is going to be a vehicle for deep-pocketed speculators and investors to pursue expensive apartment density. $1.2 million for the dirt, probably another $3 million to build the 26 units. You're in at $4 million, and that's probably let's call it between $4 and $5 million if you want 26 units to come to this location. When your bill is $5 million before you collect the first rent check, you are going to ask rent per bedroom that is going to be in the neighborhood of $1,500 a month. That is not affordable. The type of housing stock that's going to get birthed from upzoning is going to be expensive. It's not going to create affordability. Lastly, Brennan Armstrong, the UVA gunslinger that entered the transfer portal. Brennan Armstrong is being linked to NC State, transferring to Raleigh to play for the Wolfpack. Brennan Armstrong's former offensive coordinator from 2 years ago, Robert Anae, is now the offensive coordinator at NC State. And multiple sources are linking Brennan Armstrong to Robert Anae and NC State as he tries to rekindle his career, Brennan Armstrong. He's also currently being linked, Brennan Armstrong, to Auburn and Oklahoma State. The worst case scenario for the University of Virginia is if Brennan Armstrong transfers from Charlottesville to NC State and plays for the Wolfpack, and we have to watch him on Saturdays destroy Atlantic Coast Conference competition in highlights that will burn the University of Virginia from a recruiting standpoint. We all want, as Virginia fans, for Brennan Armstrong to transfer away from the ACC and potentially end up at Auburn or Oklahoma State. If he stays in the Atlantic Coast Conference and follows Robert Anae to Raleigh to NC State, this will be a bad look for Tony Elliott's program here in Charlottesville. We'll follow that very closely. I want to get to comments now. If you want your perspective heard on air, put it in the feed. We'll relay it live on the talk show. Neil Williamson, we disagree on that topic. He says upzoning will increase supply and will positively impact housing affordability. You and I agree on many things, but on upzoning, we do not agree, my friend. We do not agree. I have no doubt that we're going to have additional housing supply, my friend, but that housing supply is going to do nothing for affordability in this area. That additional housing supply is going to be expensive, and it's going to be picked up by mommy and daddy's credit card as UVA admits more students, and it's going to be picked up by Gen Zers working for some of these major firms and big tech companies that are coming to this area, or it's going to be picked up by digital nomads or finance refugees from Manhattan or Northern Virginia that are working in their basement on an ISP. We agree on a lot of stuff, my friend. This one we disagree on. But I appreciate you watching the program. And we can always agree to disagree respectfully. In fact, I'm going to respond to Neil here. Neil, I mentioned this live on air. Thank you for watching. Love when Neil watches the show. Do you want to add anything to the Piedmont lots that are for sale?
Not really.
$1.2 million for dirt.
Speculation is a thing.
No one beats capitalism. The invisible hand of capitalism is undefeated, just like Father Time is undefeated in athletics. No one beats capitalism. Let's go to more comments. This one is from Lisa Costello. People can earn more not working than they do working. For those who are on benefits, they lose those benefits when they work, so it does not pay these folks to work. Regarding McDonald's, what is the salary of the CEO of each franchise owner? Can we post those salaries? I don't know the salaries of the franchise owners. I would imagine we could find the salary of the CEO of McDonald's pretty easily because it's a publicly traded company. Are you looking for that?
I will, yeah.
If I put the over-under at $10 million a year, would you take that the McDonald's CEO is making more than $10 million a year?
I've already got the answer. So.
All right, I'm saying it's over $10 million. So you know, I don't know. I'm saying it's over $10 million. I would say the CEO of McDonald's is making somewhere between $15 and $25 million a year. How much is he making?
McDonald, hold on. All right.
Are you on a two-shot?
I am now.
Okay. What's the CEO of McDonald's making?
McDonald's CEO compensation doubled to $20 million.
Okay, so I was exactly right.
2021.
$20 million. Between 15 and 25 million, right in the middle. $20 million. This is what he's making. Right? Now, the franchise owners are going to be difficult to find. The McDonald's CEO making $20 million a year, whether we want to admit this or not, is in line with what a CEO of a publicly traded company like McDonald's should be making. It's based on compensation, comparable compensation. Lisa also says many businesses cannot keep workers at minimum or lower wages. They make more on benefits than working. Are folks still sitting out of the job market?
Yeah.
By choice? By choice.
Some of them may be by choice. Others may just not be able to get a job.
The not being able to get a job, I don't buy that as much anymore.
I mean,
the jobs are out there. There's four hire, we need to hire signs everywhere. The jobs are out there.
You would think, but
It's just, it might not be the type of work someone wants to do.
I recently read about somebody that had McDonald's as their last option.
What? They did not want to work there, or they wanted to work there?
Well, of course they didn't. They didn't want to work there, but it was among their options. It was the last, and they applied and received an email saying we won't be needing you at this time.
Well,
I'm just saying it's not as simple as
you're saying it's not a slam dunk. That's fair.
I'm saying there are a lot of different reasons out there. Some
I think
people-
when it comes down to it, I think McDonald's is going to want to get away from a lot of $15 an hour employees anyway. Have you been to the McDonald's on Pantops?
I've been by there.
If you check out the McDonald's on Pantops, there's barely any people working the front of the house. If you want to place an order at the inside of the McDonald's on Pantops, someone has to come in from the back of the house to take your order.
Yeah, I mean,
If you want to place an order inside McDonald's on Pantops and you do it through the kiosks, you're fine. But if you want to do it in person, speaking to somebody, someone literally has to come in from the back of the house to run the register, and you have to holler at them to get them to come.
they probably don't want their only register guy getting sick because some random person came in and.
I think it has more to do with labor. They're just
I'm
running
sure.
it on a very tight ship when it comes to labor.
I'm sure that's part of it too.
The
but-
line item is just keep labor as tight as possible. Use the kiosks, drive them to the mobile app, and make sure they pick up their food at the drive-through window. That's the model. Order through your phone, pick up your food without coming inside. And if you have to come inside, use this kiosk to do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to interact with anybody.
Because they don't want their people getting sick.
They don't want the people getting sick. They don't want to pay for them.
Yeah.
And guess what? A robot or a mobile app is not rude or doesn't talk back or does not have a bad day from a personality standpoint.
You also can't be rude to them.
To the robot?
Yeah.
A robot or a kiosk or a mobile app are about as consistent as a mood or personality as you can get.
About?
I would say
Do they have off days?
their off day is when like the firewall, there's an issue with the firewall where like the internet is down. The internet is down is their off day.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess.
What does the fully automated McDonald's do when the internet is down or the servers are down?
Send everybody home early.
What's the happy hour like for the kiosks and the robots at McDonald's? Are they just shooting up oil? Like dousing each other in oil?
Oh, they're talking about the crazy lady that tried to yell at me, and I'm just like, hey, lady, I'm a computer.
He's Judah. I'm Jerry. This is the I Live Seville show. We're going to sign off before we go down this rabbit hole. We're back in the saddle, guys, all week long here with the talk show. Thank you kindly for joining us. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 12:30.